Hello all, this is the part 2 of the video. Fine, Act 1 takes place in a swanky restaurant in London. This is a surreal dream-like scene which brings together 6 women across the centuries in the trans-historical conversation. All the women except Marlene are historical or mythical figures from different time periods. So, Marlene arrives first to the restaurant, and Isabella Bird and then Lady Nijo arrives, and followed by Dulgret, Pope Joan, and lastly Patient Griselda. This is the order the woman enters into the restaurant, and Isabella Bird arrives first to Marlene's dinner party and warmly congratulates her success, and she talks about her travels, especially to the Hawaii Island, and how she once wished to stay there forever with her sister Heine. The bird, actually, as her name suggests, the bird is a person who travels from one place to another. So she is a traveler, and she here Dr. Bishop is a man who treated Heine, and the bird Isabella Bird had affectionate feeling towards this Dr. Bishop, but unfortunately they couldn't make up to their marriage. But she has her life as a clergyman's daughter, and her illness, her love for adventure, and the grief of losing her sister and husband. Actually, her husband, she is a late married woman, nearly after age of 50 she marries, and after 5 years, like during her fifth anniversary, she lost her husband. So this is the tragic fate of her life, and Lady Nijo narrates her life as a courtesan to the Japanese emperor and later becoming a Buddhist nun. Her half life is sin and her half life is in repentance. And her former crush, or she liked a person called Arike. So here she explains the ladies, they have desires, but it is unfulfilled and cannot be attained due to the situations which constrained, which made an obstacle to them to reach the desires. Maybe either a desire for the person or for their career or for whatever choices they take in their life. And moving on, Pope Joan tells her story of discussing herself as a boy to become educated, rising to the position of Pope, and being killed after giving birth publicly. So, as I said, during a public procession, she delivered a baby, and the people came to know that she is a girl and actually not a Pope. So, the people stoned her, and finally, her fate is death. So Dalgret remains mostly silent, making a few blunt and vulgar comments until she later narrates how she led a group of women to fight devils in a village. And then lastly, Griselda comes. She was a poor peasant girl chosen unexpectedly by the Marquis to be his wife at 15, but only on the condition of absolute obedience. He is a king of the particular place where patient Griselda lives, and he comes and proposes a marriage to patient Griselda under the condition of obedience. And her life, though appearing like a fairy tale, turned cruel as the Marquis repeatedly tested her loyalty in inhumane ways. He took away her newborn children to see if she could still obey him, causing her a deep silent suffering. Though others see Marquis as abusive, Griselda remains devoted, believing obedience and love are her duty. And they propose a toast for Marlene's promotion, but Marlene redirects it to honor all the women and their resilience. The waitress serves brandy repeatedly, and the women gradually become drunk. During their period, they couldn't drink, so the people here they are expressing their unfulfilled desires. So they are regularly ordering they are repeatedly ordering frequently this particular brandy, and then they are getting themselves drunk. And moving on, Nijo cries remembering her lost children, and Pope Joan confronts her. And Joan recites a verse in Italian verse. Joan recites, and then suddenly becomes sick, needing water. And Griselda asks for water for Joan, but Isabella continues talking enthusiastically, showing the chaotic nature of the dinner. Here we could see that people who are restrained for centuries, like they are stopped to speak. They are not, their voices are not allowed or not heard actually, voices unheard actually. So these ladies, when they are given chances, they are keep on talking without even minding what happens for the person who sits next to them. So this is the condition. And moving on, Act 2, Scene 1, this particular scene is happening in Marlene's Top Girls agency. We see Marlene fully in her professional role at the employment agency. She actually interviews Jani, a young woman who wants a job mainly to save money for her marriage. The concept of marriage is unliked by Marlene. So, obviously, this Jani's character is not liked by Marlene because she is saving money for marriage. The marriage is not what a girl is destined to do. This is the thought of Marlene. So Marlene discourages Annie from from talking about the marriage or children, suggesting that a personal life must be hidden to succeed professionally. And this reveals how Marlene has internalized capitalist and masculine values, judging other women by the same harsh standards she faced. And also, she suggests this. Janie hesitates because she hoped for a job with some travel opportunities to have space away from her fiance. And Marlon insists that the lampshade company job has a strong long-term potential. Janie eventually agrees to let Marlon submit her application to the two places. This should be noted: the lampshade company and the knitwear manufacturer. And moving on, the Act 2, Scene 2 is in Joy's backyard in Suffolk. Suffolk. So here, Angie and Kit are hiding in a shelter made of junk in Joy's backyard. These two kids are very playful, and Angie's guardian calls out for Angie because she cannot find the girls, and Angie ignores Joyce and tells Kit that she hates Joyce. Angie and Kit talk about the supernatural ideas, argue and use profanity to each other. And Angie suddenly says she is going to kill her mother. Kill her mother here represents Joyce, not Marlene. And also, this scene highlights the gap between Marlene's world of opportunity and Joyce's world of struggle, actually. And then Joyce comes outside, finds them, offers chocolates, biscuits, and leaves after cursing at Angie. Angie tells Kid that she believes her aunt Marlene is her real mother, not Joyce. And Angie expresses a plan to visit her aunt in London someday. Angie actually plans to visit Marlene in London because she don't like Joyce. And Joyce orders Angie to clean her room after finding their hiding spot. Joyce says Angie to Angie should have stayed in school, but Kit disagrees. Joyce tells Kit that Angie doesn't have a face for school, implying she doesn't fit in. Actually, this lady, Joyce, she frequently curses Angie, like she is not fit for anything, she's not fit for the school, and she cannot marry a person and could not run a proper life with a person or a partner whom she chooses. So, and Joyce believes Angie's only hope is to find a husband, which she doubts will not happen, which she doubts will not happen. And Angie returns wearing a tight fancy dress and gets scolded for it. This particular scene, the dress is worn by Angie is because the character Kit and Angie, they both are going to a movie named Exterminator. They want to go movie, but Angie is not having money because Joyce didn't give money for Angie. But the friend Kit, she provides money and bought ticket for both the girls. And the next one is Act 2, Scene 3. It is at a backyard. No, it is at the Top Girls agency where when Nell, Marlene, and Angie, they were some characters are entering and they are attending the interviews. And these people, when Nell, Marlene, at the Top Girls agency, they are recruiting persons for their agency. And the morning at Top Girls agency employment, Vin and Nell arrives the Monday morning. Here Monday is very important, we have to note this. Monday morning and discusses their weekends. Vin reveals she visited her married boyfriend's house while his wife was away. See how. And Marlene arrives late. When Vin comments on her lateness, both Vin and Nell express satisfaction that Marlene won the promotion over Howard. See how the previously this particular position, managing director position, is with Howard. Now he is removed from the particular position and it is given to a girl. These two girls are enjoying the promotion of Marlene. And then Vin's interview with Lucy. So Vin interviews Lucy. Lucy's age is 46 and who has worked at the same company for years. No, same company means not this Top Girl agency. So in some other company, she didn't shift companies frequently. She has worked for nearly 21 years in a same company. Then Lucy has been overlooked for promotions repeatedly and wants a change. Lucy says that she was the only woman in her company except for a younger assistant. And then Lucy prefers working with men and does not drink. Vin praises her for that. Actually, this character Lucy, she comes to Top Girls agency because in her previous company, the junior fellows, they are getting high salary and they are promoted, but the senior citizens like Lucy, 46-year, Lucy is not given promotion or salary hike. So she wants to get recognized in some other place. She wants to show her caliber in this place. So she comes to Top Girls agency. And then Angie's unexpected arrival. Angie unexpectedly appears at the office, surprising Marlene. Marlene, actually, to be frank, she's not happy to see Angie. From the childhood of Angie, Marlene considers Angie as an obstacle to her professional growth. So her entry here also finds a negative appearance for Marlene. So keeps on, she doesn't like actually Marlene. No, this is the irony here. Her own child is unliked by Marlene just for the sake of being a managing director and sake of being a successful woman in her career. Yeah, fine. Angie says Joyce knows she has come, and Angie tells Marlene that her visit last year was the best day of her life. Actually, Angie says lie here because Angie says Joyce knows that she has come with the knowledge of Joyce. Angie, she came to the Top Girls agency without the knowledge of Joyce. She doesn't know where Angie went. She eloped from the house of Joyce. Angie came without saying to Joyce. And then Mrs. Kidd confronts Marlene. Mrs. Kidd arrives asking Marlene to step down from her new promotion. She argues that her husband Howard has a family to support, unlike Marlene. Marlene is not having a family to support, so she wants her to give up her position. And Marlene firmly refuses. She says that Howard can find another job if he is unhappy. Mrs. Kidd angrily wants Marlene. She will end up lonely and miserable, then leaves. This Mrs. Kidd is very cruel and she is cursing Marlene. And then Angie admires Marlene for standing up to Mrs. Kidd. Okay, fine. Next, Nell's interview with Sona. Nell interviews Sona and who claims to be 29 and seeking a management job. Nell soon discovers the Sona is actually 21, lying about her experience. After interview here, Nell says a word like this is a waste of time. She mentions this waste of time as the interview time which she spent with the Sona. This is the most wasted time of her life. She says that Nell is Sona wasted Nell's time because she pretended herself as a 29, an experienced guy. Actually, she is not an experienced fellow. She is 21 years old only. And then Vin and Angie talk. Vin finds Angie sitting at the desk and talks with her about working at the agency. And Angie expresses interest in working there in the future. Vin shares her entire life story, education, job, marriage with so much detail that Angie falls asleep. Pity. Fine. Here, Angie expresses her interest to work in the particular Top Girls agency, but actually, this is not liked by Marlene because when Vin talks to Marlene about Angie's interest of working here in Top Girls agency, Marlene rejects that. Marlene says that Angie is not capable enough to work in this particular place. And news about Howard. Here Nell informs Vin that Howard has had a heart attack, but he is still alive. So Nell here informs Vin that Mr. Howard, who is taken depromoted from the posting of managing director in Top Girls agency, is suffered from a heart attack, but still he is alive. And this character is just the name of this character only is represented in this particular act, particular play, and not his appearance could not be seen here. And then Act 3, moving on, Act 3, flashback in Joy's kitchen 1 year earlier. Fine. Marlene's unexpected visit. This scene flashes back to the 1 year earlier in Joy's kitchen. Angie, by seeing the timeline, we could see that this act comes first before all the acts. And Angie opens gift that Marlene brought for her, a dress and perfume. Joyce is surprised by Marlene's visit. Marlene believed Joyce already knew Angie and had invited her. This is visible tension between the sisters. And Angie's excitement and confession. Angie comes out wearing the new dress and is delighted with it. Angie actually thinks Marlene as her aunt, and she wears the dress which was brought by Marlene. And Angie confesses she kept Marlene's visit a secret, hoping the sisters would reconnect. And her kid enters and reacts strongly to the overpowering smell of perfume. And Joy's worry about Angie. Joy expresses concern about Angie's future, saying she has no interest and is not very clever. This is said by Joyce to Marlene. And drinking and family conversation. Adult drink whiskey together. Here adult represents Joyce and Marlene. The two sisters, they drink whiskey together. They talk about the violence in the neighborhood. Mr. Connolly killing his wife. They also discuss, as we all know, two sisters, if they are allowed to talk, they'll gossip about the neighbors and relatives, right? So they also discuss Joy's husband who left 3 years ago, and Angie leaves to get ready for bed, and drunken honesty and politics. Here, Marlene becomes intoxicated and tells Joyce she loves her. Marlene expresses excitement about the future of 1980s, including the first women prime minister, Margaret Thatcher. This is the historical background as we saw in previous video. And the sister discuss politics, leading to talk about their parents' volatile marriage, and which causes another argument. So these two sisters, as they speak gossip about the neighbors, they also fight for their own life struggles. They actually blame each other. No, this particular Joyce, she blames Marlene for every hurdles she faces in her own life. She blames her. Actually, Marlene gave Angie to Joyce, which also burdens Joy's marriage life. And disagreement about seventh one is disagreement about Angie's future. Marlene claims Angie will turn out fine. Joyce disagrees and says nothing much has changed for any of them. And ending of the flashback, Joyce goes to bed and Angie appears and sees Marlene calling her mum. And Marlon asks if Angie had a bad dream, and Angie replies, terrifying dream. Here we could see the actually, Angie doesn't know that Marlene is her own mother, but due to the bad dream she got, she wake up from the sleep, and she came to Marlene and says, "Mum," in a terrifying voice. So these are the themes: feminism versus capitalism, motherhood and career, and class division, historical continuity. And here are the MCQs. Where does Act 1, Part 1 primarily takes place? It is in the restaurant, London's Spanky restaurant. And which historical or folkloric female figure is not present at Marlon's celebrated dinner in Act 1? Answer, Mrs. Thatcher. Thatcher. So Margaret Thatcher is the first female prime minister in London. So this character is not actually seen in this play. Other characters are the fictional characters who is seen in Act 1. And what is the main topic of the dinner party conversation? Here, the personal histories and struggles of the women is present. Which character at the dinner is known for her extensive world travels? Bird, Isabella Bird. She flies all over the world. And which character was a courtesan who later becomes a Buddhist nun and traveled across Japan? Lady Nijo. Lady Nijo is the answer. And which character is famously depicted in the painting by Peter Bruegel, the elder, leading a charge to hell against the devils? Dulgrit. Answer is Dulgrit. And what type of wine does Marlon order at the beginning of the dinner party? It is Italian white wine. Italian white wine. And Pope Joan's story involves her discussing herself as a man. How does her story end at the dinner? She gives birth during a papal procession and is stoned to death. This is the fatal destination of this particular Pope Joan. And what theme is most evident in the overlapping dialogue and fragmented conversation of Act 1? Answer is the difficulty women faced in truly communicating with each other across different backgrounds or eras. Fine. The historical characters in Act 1 symbolize a form of individualistic and bourgeois feminism. Here, what does this suggest about their success? Their success often came at the cost of supporting other women or personal relationships. And Act 2 and 3 MCQs. Where does Act 2 and Scene 1 takes place? The Top Girls Employment Agency office. Who is Angie to Marlene? Her sister's daughter, whom Marlene gave up for adoption. Who is Angie to Marlene? Actually, Angie is Marlene's own daughter. Angie is not sister's daughter. Here we have to make a note that Angie is Marlene's own daughter. Which character from Act 1 reappears in Act 2 or 3? So none of the above. Only contemporary characters appears. These are all the surrealistic and imaginary characters brought by Marlene to the restaurant. So none of these appear in the later acts. What does Angie do to her doll, little Angie, in Act 2, Scene 2? So cuts her hair with a pair of scissors. She's a playful girl. And the next question, which character works for the Top Girls agency and competes with Marlene for a promotion? Nell. In Top Girls office, what does Marlene tell one job candidate she should consider? So being more aggressive in salary negotiations. What significant political context influenced the play's theme of individualism and self-reliance? Is Margaret Thatcher's conservative government and its policies. Joyce, Marlene's sister, is a working class woman. What is her view on Marlene's success? She resents Marlene for her selfishness and lack of family loyalty. And what job does Angie tell her mother? Joyce, she wants when she grows up. Actually, to work at Top Girls agency with Marlene is a desire for Angie. She loved to work with Marlene, her mother. The final scene of the play takes place a year before Act 2, where it is set in the backyard of Marlin and Joyce's childhood home. See to the chronological order of the act. So, act in actually this play contains two versions. In some versions, we could see that Act 1, 3, 2 happening in order, and in some second version, we could see that Act 3, 2, 1 is the order of the acts. So we could follow the version which came in the later years. Act 3, 2, 1 is the order, chronological order of the act in this play. And what does the Top Girls Agency specialize in placing women in high-ranking executive positions? The central conflict in the play is between which two forms of feminism? Socialist feminism versus individualistic and career-focused feminism. Which character acts as a foil to Marlin, representing the working class woman who is left behind the Thatcherite ideals? Here, Joyce is the answer. And at the end of the final act, what do Marlin and Joyce fundamentally disagree on? Their political views, who is better off in life. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much.